If your child is unvaccinated in a North Carolina school district with a universal masking policy, they do not need to quarantine if exposed to COVID. This is new guidance from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. It comes after a study of several school districts with universal masking policies showed low risk for brief unmasked exposures in mask-required settings. Based on the new evidence, they're making changes to school districts' Test to Stay programs. WCNC Charlotte's Shamaria Morrison has the details.
Changes are coming to school districts with and without universal masking policies. The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is telling schools to keep fully vaccinated students and boosted adults in the classroom after a COVID exposure. If you're not vaccinated and not showing symptoms, you still need to quarantine for 5 days and wear a mask for an additional 5 days after an exposure.
Yes, we do know that people who are fully vaccinated and boosted can get infected and can spread, but the risk is lower.
A study with North Carolina schools shows the risk of brief, unmasked exposures in mask-required settings is low. That's why the state health department is loosening requirements for students, vaccinated or not, in schools with mask requirements. Now, unvaccinated students won't be excluded from school after an unmasked exposure.
This is all about balancing risk, doing what we can do to be as flexible as possible, but lower the risk of spread as much as possible.
They will need to be tested on day 5 and wear a mask for 10 days while at school. The health department says if districts can't test all unvaccinated students on day 5 who are exposed to COVID-19, they should give priority to athletics.
So although most exposures happen during lunch, 13% of the exposures occurred during athletics. However, 50% of the subsequent positive tests happened from exposures during athletics, so a slightly higher risk of exposure during athletics.
That was Shamaria Morrison reporting. If you would like to read the entire Strong Schools NC Toolkit, we have a link on our website, WCNC.com.